There we go. Saturday night, or Sunday morning, Copwatch. Put an end to that right now. I just hit mute. Come on now. There we go. No, that's the wrong freaking. It's kind of confusing down here at the beach area. All right. So, doing this from 16 by 9. Better quality video. All right, let's see. So this is the time the bars let out. Welcome, everybody. Let's see what this is. Played this while I'm driving. All cameras are ready. All right, so it took me a minute because my phone kept freezing up. I had to dump a couple of videos off and decide what I wanted to go live on. StreamYard, Switcher. I doubt seriously we'll see the excitement we saw last night.
Okay.
I don't know if that was screwing with it. I had to, I couldn't select open unless I moved it vertically. I wish I would have turned on the police scanner. Kind of listen out where they're at. I had to log back into StreamYard. That was weird. This is around where I was at last night. I think so. In fact, I know so now. These are all choices I have for background music for videos. I'm giving them a listen. Wish I knew where the homeless were at down here, so I go scope that out, make sure they're not getting messed with. That's a little bit too dark and gloomy. I don't like that. Put it right here for right now. Can't even. I see flashing lights down there. I don't know if that's... They don't look blue from here, but I've seen a lot of cops that have those yellow mixed in. No, it's not a cop. There it is. UTMB Hospital. They're defending in my lawsuit. This is where they took me when they forced the blood draw. Pause that. So this is where they took me when they forced the blood draw. So I wonder if we might get lucky and catch one of the cops that has somebody down here to do a blood draw. Maybe even lying ass Osteen. Let's see. Look at these comments. Poor Dirt Farmer, Michael Jolins, what's going on? Just a little Copwatch. I'm not sure where. Of course, I didn't see really where. I didn't know where anything was whenever I first got down here to Galveston. Still don't. I hadn't even gotten into the city when I got pulled over. But what I was saying, if you didn't hear me, this is the hospital. Pretty big hospital too. Look at this. I didn't realize it was that big. Make sure it's on sturdy. Last thing I need is for this thing to go flying off. So I have no clue where I'm at. Other than somehow I wandered up on UTMB. What I want to do is, here, let me get out of this on this phone. I need to find Broadway. Alright. I am a few miles away. 3 miles. I can get pulled over by cop sees me wearing headphones. Got one cup off, or 1 cup off. There's no traffic law that says that. That would be an argument. That would be stupid. Probably heard me use this a couple of times in some of my videos. Hey, piggy. Well, I'm headed to really just scope out any traffic stops that are going on. Bar let out at 2 o'clock. I was enjoying my time down by the water. Almost didn't even go Copwatch tonight. Even though that's a big part of the reason that I came down to Galveston. That water, being down by that water, it's rejuvenating. I see you, Michael Dolan. What's up with you, buddy? How's your night going? Well, when you don't see him out on a traffic stop, there's one place you can find him. Guaranteed. Galveston Police Department.
Push the camera.
Push the camera.
Lest we forget, I haven't. I forgot. I'm sure that other camera's not working right now because it's out of hotspot range. But I wanted to let's see. I wanted to set it up just in case. So I guess this would clearly be where the sheriff's department generally comes in and out. And I don't necessarily have a problem with the sheriff's department. I have a problem with certain sheriff's deputies. But it wasn't the sheriff's department that arrested me in 2023. But I would like to hear it from the mouth of some of the sheriff's deputies. I would like to hear them condemn it. I don't think right now is the time for that. I would like to get I'd like to have some interaction with some Galveston police officers, because that's where the problem really is. And I came down here to get accountability, to get somebody to in the department. That's really, honestly, I would say I would count this as a win if I simply got one officer to condemn the actions of William Osteen. Keep beeping nonstop, Frederick. Trying to get this damn power cord broken loose. There we go. Well, I don't need a lot with keys anymore. Alright, this is frustrating. Now where the hell are the keys down at? Oh, back pocket. Hey, is it still frozen? Hey, is it still frozen? Okay, so we're calling the airport police department.
Communication Authority.
Hello?
Airport Communication Authority.
Yes, I was calling about an incident the other night. Is there a supervisor?
Hey, I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. I don't know what's wrong with your phone.
Okay, I'm not really sure. Yeah, I was calling about an incident the other night. I was hoping that there was a supervisor that I could speak with.
It was what kind of incident?
Well, it was regarding a detainment and trespass that occurred at the airport on June 8th. involving Officers Maston, Green, and Officer Andrew Staton Jr.
Okay. All right, yeah, so that is a police incident. I wanted to make sure I had an understanding. Let me get you over to the police, either lieutenant or sergeant on duty. Give me 1 second, okay?
Okay.
All right.
So we have us a little checkpoint set up right here. Okay. We gotta make sure ain't no funny business going on. And I think that they are dodging. I think they're dodging my checkpoint. All right, so we're about to call back to Oxford and try to get Sessoms on the line. This is how I handle corrupt pieces of shit.
Officer Police?
Yeah, is Captain Sessoms in?
I certainly can see Matt. Who's speaking?
This is Don.
Okay. Don who?
Don Matthews.
Okay, home please.
Okay. Yeah, I just take a couple of naps, then doze off for a couple hours. Been used to it. Kind of having to stay in motion right now, being in Galveston or being around the Galveston area.
Mr. Matthews?
Predictability. Yes.
He's not at his desk at the moment. I'm transferring his voicemail.
He hasn't been there. I've tried to call several times. At this point, I want to know, what type of wastage is going on with the citizens' tax dollars. I mean, where's this guy at? I said, where's this guy at?
I'm not exactly sure, sir. He's just one of our administrators, so I don't have
Well, he's never
hours. I'm not exactly sure.
He's never in his office.
So I can have to take a message.
Well, I just I'm trying to reach him to, he's probably, if I had to guess, he's probably expending city resources, running illegal surveillance, violating. So this is the most outrageous thing that I've ever seen in my life regarding Captain Sessoms. He should be ashamed of himself. He is an absolute disgrace to the uniform, and it's he is a
Sir, let me try to find you someone to speak with.
Okay. Hey, hold up! You can't blow past my checkpoint. He blew my checkpoint, folks. All right. Surely it's not going to make me start it all over. I don't think so. Oh, hey, Ann. How are you? I wish I could have skipped this. I should have cut this out. But that's just the raw recording. Nothing I can really do about it. Good. I was down at the water earlier. I almost didn't come out Copwatch, and even though that was basically my purpose, is to remind these people that they can't go violating people's rights like they did mine back in 2023. Hey, hold up. I got a checkpoint right here. It's fine when they do it. It's not fine when we do it. So at this point, they're just trying to drag it out as long as possible. I guarantee you, Jeff is sitting right there next to the phone, laughing it up. But see, what they did in this is kind of made it worse on themselves. They got me wound up. What do we have here? It's about to get to the good part. He's about to pick up. Hey, what's up, Kenneth? Kayla, I'm looking for I'm looking for Captain Sessoms.
Okay. He's not in right now. Can I take a message?
Why isn't he in? Where's he at? Hey, hey, hey! He just about ran over me. What's up, Jordan Lott? Always, I got to send this reminder, man. That's what I came down to Galveston for, is to send them a strong reminder that they're not going to do that shit and get away with it. They need to be sent that sign, or else they think it's all right. Evidence could not be clear. I mean, the court orders say it all.
Okay. He's not in right now. Can I take a message?
Why isn't he in? Where's he at?
He's in a meeting.
Has he been in a meeting all day?
I mean, I'm not aware that he's been in a meeting all day.
Well, that's kind of what it feels like, because he hasn't answered the phone. I'm wondering what's going on with the citizens' tax dollars, because he clearly isn't at his desk doing his job, but he has time to run illegal
If this is
surveillance.
restarted.
And I mean, it's just absolutely outrageous what he
Yeah,
did.
that's
He ought to be
restarted.
ashamed of himself.
Shit. Well, unfortunately, we're not going through that wait again. I can't deal with it. Let me see what other. Oh, okay. So that was one hell of a story right there. When my ex falsely accused me of rape, truth came out that her and her husband and who she claimed was the mayor's husband played into that plot. Let me see. Oh, we have this right here. I think it might take a second to load, but the assistant U.S. attorney over in South Mississippi that called me whenever that gorilla of a state trooper assaulted me on July 3rd. It says it's too big. Okay, that's what she said. Um, Joe East. This one. That copy may be all right. Nope. Mm-hmm. This is a good one. I don't think if this is the one I'm thinking about, nobody. I have not talked about this, or I haven't released any calls publicly yet. So I guess this will be the first one. And this is the Attorney General's office, of all people. It's processing. While it's doing that, I'm going to look and see. Um, Turning over phone. Oh, it's too big of a file. I know that.
to route you to the appropriate division as quickly as possible for assistance. Please listen to all of the following options to find the one that best fits your needs. If you have a complaint related to identity theft, a scam or fraud, robocall, or other consumer matters, press 1. If you have been a victim of a crime and need to speak to a victim advocate or file or check on a claim for a victim compensation, press 2. If you need to reach our Medicaid Fraud Control Unit, press 3. If you have a question about an election crime, abuse, or neglect of a vulnerable person, or public corruption, press 4. If you are a public official seeking an official opinion or approval for an interlocal agreement, press 5. If you are unclear which division, press 0, and an operator will assist you. Attorney General's office.
Yes, can I speak to Ashley Sulzer?
Sure, just a second. Criminal Appeals Division, this is Ashley.
Hey, is this Ashley Sulzer?
Yes, this is.
Ashley, this is Matthew Reardon. I was I'm calling about this appeal in the Court of Appeals 2024-CP-00839.
839, okay.
What is
What do you need to know about it?
what is y'all's intention? Y'all never filed an appellee's brief, and there was notice sent out on June 10th by the um, by the Supreme Court clerk about
Mm-hmm.
the failure to file an appellee's brief. And
Right. Yeah, that was that was not our office.
well,
Um,
but I sent my appellant's brief to y'all's office and
sure.
to all parties. Here's the thing: Lafayette County, they have known that this whole ordeal was sham. Like I have screamed it since the beginning. I was completely denied all aspects of due process. It was a mock kangaroo hearing, or proceeding, and it combined with everything else, it has completely screwed my life up to pieces. In fact, I can't I cannot get any job now. I've literally, I can't even get DoorDash ran a background check for me to do DoorDash and denied it because of this. That's actually, it's in default now for the state because the state never did submit an appellee's brief. I mean, there is really no argument that can be made on it. They're doing this to literally close every single door of opportunity just to screw with me. And I would like to know, is the state gonna officially just throw in the towel on this?
Hey, hey, hey,
I
hey, hey,
need
hey,
to.
hey, hey!
I cannot get employment because of everything Lafayette County has done.
Well, it's our position that the Mississippi Attorney General's office does not represent the state in this appeal. It is the Mr. Chain, and the court, it is aware of that too, and that's why they sent him the deficiency notice. So we're not representing the state, so we're not going to file a brief on behalf of the state.
Well, but what can I mean? I've gone to the Attorney General's office countless times about this public corruption that's going on in Lafayette County, and the fact that the Attorney General's office hasn't done anything about it just shows a whole lot of complicity with the Attorney General's office. I mean, I've
Well, I
talked to
can't
the
answer
Public
to that. I can't
Integrity
answer that.
I've talked to the Public Integrity Division, I don't know how many times. On top of that, there's a more recent issue that my ex has double dipped on child support, has committed fraud, has sworn
has perjured herself on an affidavit, and the Attorney General's office, because I'm the victim in it all, has refused to do anything. Lynn Fitch is just, I don't know what Lynn Fitch's issue is, but anything in regards to me, they have intentionally chosen to stand down. And, this is there is a duty that the Attorney General's office has here in regards to this compounded public corruption that's gone on as long as it has. And I mean, that's the thing. When something really bad happens, everybody's going to point the finger because, I've been crying out for help for all this time and nobody wants to do anything.
Well, you said you've detailed all of this with like you've sent, your grievances to the Attorney General's office?
I've done it. I've done it for 6 years. I mean, Lynn Fitch is very well aware of it, but has refused. Like it couldn't be clearer. It could not be clearer on all this. This is it's completely weaponized. What these it's beyond criminal. What these people have done.
Well, do you have evidence of that?
I've
Have
got
you
evidence
shared with the
galore.
authorities?
I've got evidence galore. You couldn't have more evidence than I've had, and that's the thing. That's what's so
Hey,
frustrating.
Daisy May.
Is I've turned this stuff over. I've literally it could not be clear on all this. I'm an investigative journalist. I've been literally just attacked for my journalism.
Have you told other state officials about this?
I mean, other state officials. I've told everybody that I haven't been silent about it at all. I've been everything but silent.
Hmm. Well, I can't speak to all that, but just for our purposes, we're not representing the state in this appeal. So
Well,
you could.
what's the state going to do about everything?
Well, we're not. I mean, we're. What do you mean about everything?
About I mean, like the fact that I've literally this is some of the worst public corruption that has gone on in Lafayette County, and they've gotten away with it over and over again because it's been condoned, it's been allowed. It's I mean, I've got right now I've got about a 95-page RICO complaint that
Hmm.
details out everything, that details out the public officials, that details everything out in complete detail, and it's steadily getting added to. But I mean, like I don't know, like when is the state going to actually do its job and step in and do something about all this?
Well, I can't answer that because I don't um, handle that part. But I mean, you could just keep trying. I don't know what else to tell you.
Just keep trying. So I just I don't know what keep trying means. I mean, like I don't know how what else I have to do to get somebody's attention. Like this is I don't
Is there anything else I can help you with?
yeah, put Lynn Fitch on the phone with me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. She thinks it's a joke. She's a joke.
I don't. I doubt that. That's incorrect.
Well,
But you're entitled to your opinion.
how's it incorrect if I've been trying for 6 years and nobody will even look at anything? That means
Well,
the Attorney General.
maybe you don't actually have the proof you think you have.
No, I've got the proof. I think I know I've got the proof. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. The proof, there is no dispute. Zero. It's I don't know. I mean, you know, it's completely just one of my just one of my websites that details everything out. You know, We the People News, WTPnews.org. Check it out.
I will do that.
All right.
But in the meantime, good luck.
All right.
I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that's supposed to mean though, because I mean, to literally, I had everything going for me. I mean, I had my resume phenomenal. I cannot get hired now. I cannot, you know, I can't support my kids. I can't support myself because of what the state of Mississippi has done. I can't even get hired as a DoorDash driver because of this sham. You know, what they knew was a rigged charge. You know, there's actually the more recent thing that's happened. It was an illegal interstate conspiracy involving two Lafayette County sheriff's deputies that actually
Hmm.
conspired with an officer from Galveston, Texas. I went over there. I was given a 1 year prison sentence for going to the FBI to report corruption with two law enforcement agencies because I was banished from Lafayette County. And I did what I was supposed to do in reporting that I needed to go into the county to meet with the FBI. I was given because the deputy intentionally lied on stand in court, which I exposed in a video where I had the transcript in court as well as the recorded phone calls, and it's lined up on the transcript to show that she intentionally lied to send me to prison. All right, I after I got out, I exposed that. I I got tips of corruption with the Galveston Police Department, that they were racially profiling people. I drove 12 hours to Galveston. As soon as I come into the city limits of Galveston, I get pulled over. I was given a it was a false DWI. The officer claimed he smelled alcohol. I hadn't drank in 4 or 5 years, and I kept demanding a breathalyzer. It wasn't even about that. All it was about was I was on unsupervised probation from a previous rigged, conspired upon act by Lafayette County, and they used that to silence me because I exposed that deputy. They simply had me charged with a DWI over in Galveston, knowing that I would never be convicted of it. But they did that because the burden of proof is much less on a probation revocation hearing. And they did that to hold me in jail in Galveston for 11 months, extradite me to Mississippi 2 weeks before I had trial. So I got robbed of a trial and then given a 2 year prison sentence in Mississippi because the officer over in Galveston lied. And it was proven that he lied on stand in court, but it didn't change the fact that I was sent off to prison. And that sentence was vacated January 21st of this year. And I was released from prison January 22nd because it was declared unlawful. And I left and I went to Utah to get away from these evil people in Mississippi. And no sooner than I get to Utah, a captain with the Oxford Police Department, Hilton Sessoms, actually ran illegal interstate surveillance on me somehow, some way, because I didn't even have my address at that point. I had just signed a lease. I hadn't given the address to anybody, and gave my address and my personal information out to this Utah Police Department with false information, and that then got doxed out to 139 police officers via email. I got that through a public records request that I had requested, and I got all the evidence. So there's no way I'm making this stuff up. And that stuff is on the website, by the way. And the fact that, the state attorney general's office has been made aware of this stuff and is allowing these people to continue to operate in dangerous ways. It's it's beyond a nightmare. And here I am, you know just the one to suffer the consequences of everything, because these people have run amok and have been allowed to.
Makes them guilty of it.
And I want accountability.
Well, is this your phone number, 662-701-2458?
Yes,
Okay. Well, I'll pass this message along to our Public Integrity Division.
I've tried. I mean, that's the thing. You couldn't get more evidence. I mean, I've gotten this through public record requests. I've literally, it's, I, I feel like there's a duty, you know, if there's some type of personal animus for whatever reason towards me, those people in the public integrity division need to find another job. There's still a duty at the end of the day to uphold the law and to prevent this type of stuff from happening, because it sets a horrible precedent, and uh I just I I can't do anything now. I can't do anything to generate money because of what these people have done. And I mean, I just I'm out of options.
Well, like I said, I will pass this information along and tell them to check out your website. All right.
I got a lot more than that website, but
Okay. Um, but that's about all I'm able to do at this point.
okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. I'd like to route you to the appropriate division as quickly as possible for assistance. Please listen to all of the following options to
They
find the
can't
one
say
that
they
best
didn't
fits your
know.
needs. If you have a
Plausible
complaint related
deniability is
to
off the
identity
table.
theft, a scam or fraud, robocall, or other consumer matters, press 1. If you have been a victim of a crime and need to speak to a victim advocate or file or check on a claim for a victim compensation, press 2. If you need to reach our Medicaid Fraud Control Unit, press 3. If you have a question about an election crime, abuse, or neglect of a vulnerable person, or public corruption, press 4. If you are a public official seeking an official opinion or approval for an interlocal agreement, press 5. If you are unclear which division, press 0, and an operator will assist you.
That's what I want right there. Open. So this is Erin Chalk. She's she's an assistant U.S. attorney with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Southern Mississippi.
Outside of the governor's mansion. I was peacefully protesting on the sidewalk. Um, I'm a journalist. I believe wholeheartedly in the First Amendment. It must be preserved at all costs. I was exercising my rights, and a state trooper that was there at the shack got completely triggered and told me to take my sign and go across the street. I told him I was on the public sidewalk and I was perfectly fine, and he charged at me, threatening me, and I'd say came within about an arm's length of me, pushing me out into the road. which was excessive right there. But where it went from bad to worse was where the I demanded a supervisor because I wanted to make an on-site complaint. And a supervisor by the name, his last name was White, came over there, and I was explaining everything that had happened. Uh, the supervisor was more, you know, I guess wasn't worried about his actions, um, and was trying to figure out a way to basically kind of make it all, my fault. But I wasn't. But once again, I mean, everything is video recorded. Um, the the state trooper that had charged at me, I guess he had put on his trooper hat and put on his gun belt, came back to the gate and
That's as loud as it goes up,
and
Daisy May.
told me, once again, yelled something. I can't remember what he yelled, and I said, "You're gonna get away from me." And he charged at me in the presence of his supervisor and two other troopers, and actually assaulted me this time. Swung, hit me. I blocked it with my arm. I had a gimbal with a camera. It knocked the camera off of the gimbal to the ground, and he stepped on it. The supervisor came running up and said and told him to de-escalate, and um, the other troopers were telling him the same thing to de-escalate, and I started, demanding that charges be filed on him because I mean, it, a trooper can't just assault. They're supposed to have a level of um, what's the word I'm looking for? They're supposed to have a certain level of I can't even my brain's not working today. But yeah, so I was demanding because it was open, it was on camera. This wasn't something that, I've been assaulted before where law enforcement said, we can't do anything because we didn't actually witness it. It didn't happen in our presence. But that couldn't be said here. This actually happened in the presence of his supervisor and two other uniformed officers. And just me saying alone that I wanted charges filed on him for that. Um, Triggered him again, and he busted through all of them like a linebacker in a football game, trying to get to me a third time. Just because I was simply saying that I wanted charges filed on the guy. I kept demanding for him to be identified. I wanted name and badge number, and they refused um, to give me any identification, which I think personally falls under obstruction of justice because here I'm wanting charges filed on him, and they're concealing his identity. He not only did he not identify, but his supervisor um, uh, his fellow troopers concealed his identity. And I feel like, not only does that fall under, I could take this the state route, but I believe wholeheartedly that this is something that needs to be looked into by the feds. I think that this is something that falls 100% under 18 U.S. Code 242, and even quite likely 18 U.S. Code 241. I don't think the state it will take this seriously, and I think that's evident by the governor's position on everything. The governor has refused to address anything. It happened outside of his mansion. It's been a very public ordeal. The video has been picked up by some large channels. It's the Mississippi Highway Patrol secretary that I spoke with on the phone had even seen the video, and she even said herself she couldn't believe what she saw. He was 100% in the wrong. And I've called for the governor to denounce it. I've called publicly for the governor to denounce it because I think that it sends a visible message to not only the citizens of the state of Mississippi, but to the nation. Because this video has not only it's gone around the country, and there have been people in other countries that have jumped on and commented seeing it. I think that it sends a clear message that the state of Mississippi condones this type of behavior, happening to citizens that are peacefully protesting, and not only citizens that are peacefully protesting, but journalists. And I can't count on the state doing the right thing in this situation, because the governor is intentionally choosing to stay silent on it. And to me, silence is complicity. And it's honestly, it's just as criminal in this situation.
Okay. My office, we do not investigate. We prosecute cases that are brought to us. So I forwarded your voicemail that you left with our office to the FBI, and I'll follow up and make sure that they received it. Then they go from there as far as the
They only
investigation.
investigate
For an
if it comes to
investigation,
something they're
just wanted to clear
investigating
that with
on
you.
me.
That my office, we don't
That's it.
investigate. So I'm not in a position where I can comment one way or another.
Okay. I would be happy
Dumbasses will
to
charge
to
me with
provide. I
loitering and
understand that they
disorderly
do the
conduct
investigating,
outside of a
and
federal
I'll say
courthouse.
I'll say this, that I've had numerous issues with um with getting fair treatment from the FBI. Um, this and it's been in several jurisdictions, not just in the Northern District of Mississippi, not just in, out in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's there's been
Absolutely.
I've I don't know why. I feel like the evidence couldn't be clearer, and it's like there's just um they hear my name, and it's just, they immediately will not give anything a fair look. I don't have I don't have any kind of record as far as the feds go. I don't have any. I've never committed any federal crimes. I have asked that the FBI, do a fair investigation into what the state of Mississippi has done over the last 8 years. And there's been a lot of, I'll tell you exactly what I feel like happened here. I've got a book that's about to publish. It's called American Injustice, that details out 8 years of absolutely heinous public corruption that I've witnessed, and it's happened to me, and it's backed by evidence. It's not just things that I'm saying. I'm alleging. It's stuff that's actually backed by evidence. And what I feel like has happened here is, and this should not be the case. This should never be the case. But what happened was, it happened, like all of my story, everything that happened started with a few people on the state back in 2017. And what happened was, it was a few other people that took the backing of those people with the state to basically cover up and protect. And then there was one instance after another of that got exposed, and then there was something else done to cover that up. And then that got exposed, and then something was done to cover that up. And each and every time that happened, it involved more and more people to successfully cover it up. So what started with a few people on the state side has spiraled out of control to where there's been so much involvement, so many different people with the state, and even it's gotten to what I can just about 100% make the claim that there were it got to a level where, there were people on the Fed side that basically, it started with just a couple, just, not many, that basically, covered and took the backing of certain people that had involvement in the state. And then before long, you have more people on the federal side that are obviously now they're backing up and taking the back of the people that should have never just automatically, backed up and covered up people with the state. And it's gotten to, I've coined it trickle down corruption. Okay. And it's where, it's something that's ballooned to where there is, and I'll tell you this case in point. I've made 3 Office of the Inspector General complaints. And these are, I got sentenced to a year in prison for going to the FBI office in Oxford, Mississippi to report law enforcement corruption. That should never happen. What happened was Lafayette County, Mississippi actually had me banished from the county. This is all part of the numerous things that have happened. I was completely denied due process, and I had a family crisis that involving my children, that I ended up pleading out to something that I did not do, but I pled out solely to get out and to provide for my family. But part of that whole pleading out to it, I had to agree to be banished from Lafayette County. Well, I had evidence of law enforcement corruption involving Holly Springs, Mississippi Police Department, as well as Lafayette County Sheriff's Department, and I called the FBI in Oxford and I said, "Hey, I've got evidence of this, corruption. I want to speak to somebody. I want to bring my evidence up there." And the agent told me, "We don't do appointments, we do walk-ins." And I said, "Well, it's a little bit different for me because I'm actually banished from Lafayette County, and this is one of the things that I want to talk to y'all about." And we had agreed verbally on the phone to me coming up there about an hour and a half later. I went up, so before I went up there, I called the sheriff's department and I spoke to a sheriff's deputy named Candace Beavers. And I recorded the phone call and I told her verbatim everything that I had discussed. Well, I didn't tell her what it was about, but I said that I needed to go to the FBI office and that in the next hour and a half. I go up there. Nobody at the FBI came out and met with me. I sat in the lobby for, about 2 hours waiting for somebody to come out. Well, days later, I'm abruptly taken into custody by Lafayette County. They violated my probation, and actually gave me a year in prison for violating the banishment clause by going to the FBI office. This is all in court transcripts, okay? So I didn't have the call recordings with me to actually show this in court. So I served a year in prison for going to the FBI to report law enforcement corruption. I get out of prison August 1st, 2023, and I exposed the sheriff's deputy for what she did. I put the court transcript out as well as the call recordings that are lined up, and it shows verbatim that she intentionally lied to send me to prison. That got a lot of traction on YouTube, and they devised a scheme to attack me and to silence me. And what happened was 9 days after I got out of prison, August 1st, I left to go to Galveston, Texas, to go and report on law enforcement corruption down there because I had gotten tips as a journalist that they were making false arrests. They were racially profiling people. As I was going into the city limits of Galveston, Texas, 11 hours away, I'm pulled over by Galveston police and I'm arrested on a false charge of DWI. I hadn't drank in 4 or 5 years, since the end of 2018. I kept telling the officer that. He claimed that he smelled the odor of alcohol.
I think this thing just
Well,
went on
refused to
repeat
give me a
because I
breathalyzer
I
test,
know
took
I've
me to the
already
hospital, and they
listened to
tortured
this.
me at the hospital with a needle, with like 6 officers holding me face down on a hospital bed. I sat, as I was getting booked in, I heard the voice of that sheriff's deputy on the phone with the arresting officer. Okay. I sat in the jail in Galveston, Texas for 11 months. 2 weeks prior to going to trial, I was extradited to Mississippi. I was robbed of a trial in Galveston, Texas. I was extradited to Mississippi. They held a revocation hearing for me and actually sent me to prison, gave me a 2-year prison sentence based on the officer's lies. That prison sentence was vacated January 21st of this year. It was declared illegal, and I was released January 22nd. the charge in Galveston, completely dismissed. The proof came out. I was innocent, and it was a conspiracy. We actually have recorded phone calls from Lafayette County, Mississippi, actually on the phone with Galveston, Texas, the arresting officer, to arrest me. This was part of the conspiracy to silence me and put me into prison. They literally have robbed me of my life. I've lost literally everything. They sold my car at public auction. They have completely just stripped me of everything. And I have been crying out for help to the federal authorities. This evidence couldn't be any clearer. And why the feds haven't come down on these people yet is beyond me. I'll tell you another thing. Why the FBI has stayed silent, even though I've published the recorded phone calls showing where I spoke with the FBI, and basically I went to prison for that. Why they haven't come forward and said, well, that guy was actually right. He was, we did talk to him. What happened in him getting sent to prison, was wrong. Somebody should have come forward and spoken up on that. And instead, the FBI has chosen to remain silent. So yeah, I understand that you say that the FBI has got to investigate it. But why haven't they looked into anything else? Why have they been able to remain silent and be complicit in everything that's happened? This has been an all out just attack, everything but an assassination on a journalist. And honestly, I feel like that's the next thing to come, because they've done every single thing that they could possibly do to me to silence me. It's I've been 5150'd as part of a cover up. I was sent to a state hospital. They tried to say that I was crazy whenever I made the claim that I found records altered, court records altered. But I published the proof of that, and it's on my website. And they came in and they tried to say that I was paranoid and delusional, and that I would go out in public recording. But I'm a journalist, and that's a key function of my job. Uh, I've never, I've never had any kind of diagnoses, been on any kind of medication, but yet they have put me in a state hospital trying to say that I was not taking medication, not seeking medical help, going out in public places recording, paranoid and delusional, but none of that stuff applied. And, I just, these people have completely, it's very dangerous.
I hearing what you're saying, I cannot comment on why or what the FBI did or did not do because I have no knowledge.
But see, y'all are the prosecuting, they're the investigatory arm, y'all are the prosecuting arm, and all I'm asking, okay, because different from the state, I can basically file a criminal affidavit with the state, and they have to, push that forward. On the Fed side, it has to be initiated by the federal authorities. And all I'm saying is, I would like to, um, I would like to send the proof that I have, the videos that I have, and I have every reason to not be trusting of the FBI because of everything else that has happened. The fact that they've stayed silent. I, Instead of relying solely on the FBI to do their job there and properly investigating that and looking at the videos, I would like to be able to send the videos to y'all, because y'all have the ability to pull the trigger on prosecuting something. It doesn't solely have to come from the FBI. It has to just be a federal authority, one of the arms. It's really ultimately it comes down to the U.S. Attorney's Office on making the decision to prosecute. But something as plain, you know, easy to see as this, I would like, you know, I'm not fully trusting in the FBI doing their job and investigating this because of everything else that's happened. So can I send the videos to someone in your office?
Whenever you like to my office, I'm going to send it to the FBI.
Okay. And
You're happy to send it to my office.
all right, can I get an email?
Erin, ERIN, .chalk, CHALK, at USDOJ.gov.
CHALK
That's correct.
at US what?
DOJ.gov.
Okay. Yeah, and my website is WTPnews.org. And that's got honestly the stuff that I discussed with you on the phone is all there on the homepage of that website. Okay.
Yeah.
I just hope that something's done about this time, because I mean this enough is
And all I can tell you is receive it. The FBI to take a look.
well, I mean,
Handle everything.
but I know you say you can't promise anything, but I mean if it's just blatantly clear, and if like
One way or another.
right, but what if I were to do the same thing to them? Because if I were to do the same thing, I would be prosecuted. And it's not fair for it to be allowed to happen to me and for me not be allowed to do it to them. You know, do you understand what I'm saying? Like that's the message that
They're another prosecuting agency if you're not
How many think they did
going to
anything?
the district attorney.
well, I've sent it all to the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General's office, that's why I need it to go to the feds, just because, and I need the feds to actually take a serious look at this, is because this has been full-on weaponization by the state of Mississippi at its highest levels. The Attorney General's office has been very well aware of everything that has gone on, Aaron. And they, you know, for them to do something is basically for them to admit that they've been in the wrong before. I think that the
That's a
same
big
issue is
farce.
going on here with
It's a
feds.
felony
I think
charge.
for them to
That's
basically do anything and get involved kind of shows complicity before. But I'm not, you know, I want y'all to know I'm not trying to, you know, I'm not trying to clamp down and you know, basically, I,
slash I.
I want this to stop. Okay. That is the number one thing. I want this to stop. And I feel like people feel like if they do get involved at this point, that it makes them automatically, in the eyes of the public, guilty for not doing anything before. Okay. And that's the problem, is this is getting out of hand. You know, it cannot, this cannot be allowed and condoned. It cannot be allowed to go on any further. Sounds good. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Outside of the governor's mansion, I was peacefully protesting on the sidewalk. Um, I'm a journalist. I believe wholeheartedly in the First Amendment. It must be preserved at all costs. I was exercising my rights, and a state trooper that was there at the shack got completely triggered and told me to take my sign and go across the street. I told him I was on
How
the
many
you know
think I got a
public
phone call
sidewalk, and
back
I was
whether
perfectly
they did
fine, and
anything?
he charged at me,
Hold on.
threatening me, and I'd say, you know, came within.
I knew the answer to that while we were on the phone. She was deflective, but you know, one thing came from it, and it's the same thing that it's the same reason why I came to Galveston. Because whether or not anything happens or anybody speaks up against it, condemning it, if they don't, they can't say they didn't know about it. I'm making sure to document thoroughly each person that knows. And so the whole thing that the government used to always rely upon, plausible deniability, the ability to just say I didn't see it, I didn't know about it, that's not going to be able to be asserted. That's definitely one of the defenses that can't ever be asserted. And again, nothing was done. And every time that something is not done, it opens the floodgate for something else to happen even worse. The same thing to happen or something to happen even worse. And my story from 2017 to now makes that abundantly clear. You know, so many different levels you can break this down on, but just one of them. If the FBI would have simply done their job, simply done their job, especially when everything was out in the public, even them knowing that it was out in the public. If the FBI would have simply done their job, Candace Beavers wouldn't very likely have called over here to Galveston. So you know, I, yeah, we can blame Candace Beavers, or she's the chief one to blame. But I think the FBI stands right there with her. I really do. They knew about it. They did nothing. They said nothing. When you have good people that are working for bad people and good people cover up or turn a blind eye for the bad people to protect them, the good people are no longer good people. They're now part of the bad people. If somebody watches a cop, if another cop watches another cop beat somebody, violate somebody's rights, and they stay silent, they're not a good cop. They're a horrible cop. They're a horrible person. There's no there's no, gray area there. They are a horrible person. You're probably wondering why I'm sitting here outside of the gate, thinking I got balls of steel. I actually feel safer right here. There's more cameras. See, I wanna hold the wrongdoers accountable. Transparency holds the wrongdoers accountable. They don't want transparency. It's one thing they don't want. And so I'm gonna sit right here by the gate for a couple of reasons in particular. Because I'm a journalist and I'm working on a story, and it's my story. I'm wanting somebody to do the right thing and respond, speak up, denounce it. And I don't feel like I've accomplished my job until that happens. And so I'm on the job. I've got a real legitimate purpose for being here. If they try anything stupid, and this goes before the court, and all these videos get watched to show why was that guy out there. Well, this is why. What Osteen did was why. The fact that the city has condoned it and allowed it is why. The fact that the police chief, other officers, and probably even the mayor of the city of Galveston have known what's going on and that there's a federal lawsuit filed, and Osteen is still working as a police officer is why. I've tried everything else. I've talked to the authorities. You ought to see all the phone calls I've got. It's really hard to pick and choose. Um, I wonder if there was. Let me look on my not Dropbox, iCloud Drive. Um, I could. See if my laptop's charged. Yep. I would imagine those on here now probably weren't on earlier. I want to read something. So I've decided what I'm going to do for my members. I know I need to do something. I've been needing to do something. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to read this prologue to American Injustice. Everybody that's heard it's wanted to hear more. The members will hear more. I'll start. What I want to start doing is covering a chapter or two, and then showing the videos that actually back up, like the evidence that actually backs up what is in the book, so that by the time we get to the end of it, the whole story is out there, like every single, and everything is backed up by evidence, and it's showing you where you can find it. I'm showing you everything that I'm reading. Let me pull this. It's not going to be alive for long. All right. This book is more than my personal story. It is a warning. It is a testament to what happens when government corruption goes unchecked, and when those in power wield the legal system as a weapon against the people they're supposed to serve. I never asked for this fight. I never sought out enemies in the government. I never imagined I would become a political prisoner in my own country. But when you challenge corruption, when you stand up to those who believe they are untouchable, they do everything in their power to silence you. I was arrested, prosecuted on false charges, exiled from my own home, and forcibly committed to a mental institution, all because I refused to stop speaking out. This wasn't just about me. This is about the Constitution, about free speech, about the fundamental rights that every American is supposed to have. My story is proof that tyranny doesn't always come in the form of a dictator or a military coup. Sometimes it wears a badge. Sometimes it sits behind a judge's bench. Sometimes it drafts laws designed to suppress those who dare to dissent. This is my story. This is the truth they tried to bury. And this is why I'll never stop fighting. If they can do this to me, they can do it to anyone. May 2008. The name Camp Devil Dog might sound like something out of a war movie, but to us it was just another Marine Corps training base. An isolated post where the days blended into one another. The air carried the smell of sweat, dust, and gun oil, and the rules were as much a part of life as breathing. On that particular night, I was assigned to a roving post. Roving meant motion. You moved through your assigned area in regular intervals, stopping at checkpoints, scanning for anything out of place. In training environments, the most dangerous thing you usually encountered was boredom. But boredom wasn't on the schedule that night. The Marine assigned to Armory Watch was a quiet guy, not someone you'd pick out in a crowd, but not invisible either. He had access to the weapons. That's what Armory Watch meant. It was a responsibility. And in our world, responsibility wasn't something you took lightly. Yet at some point in those small hours, something broke in him. No one saw it coming. No warning signs that night. No whispered confessions. Just the sound, that unmistakable sound, of an M16 set to 3-round burst. In training environments, gunfire, wait, in training environments, gunfire was tightly controlled. Live rounds at that hour, in that place, were never part of the plan. Not only was I close enough to hear it, but I was also close enough to see it. Close enough to get there quickly, but not quickly enough. The scene was something you don't forget. The way the human body collapses when it's no longer alive. The smell of cordite in the air. The weapon still near his hand. The armory racks standing silently behind him like mute witnesses. Within hours, the officers were there. Not just the on-duty supervisors, but higher-ranking men whose boots usually didn't touch the concrete outside their offices. They took control, ordered Marines back to their quarters, and secured the scene. When the paperwork was done, it said training accident. That label carried weight. It wasn't just semantics. A suicide meant loss of death benefits for the family. A training accident could preserve them. At least that's what. At least that was justification we were given. But in labeling it that way, they'd also rewritten reality. That was the first time I saw how truth could be edited, how the official truth could be made to serve an agenda. I stayed in the Corps after that, but I wasn't the same. That night planted something in me. A distrust, a refusal to take official statements at face value. And over time, the weight of it, combined with other experiences, began to show. By 2011, I was discharged. The paperwork said alcohol rehabilitation failure. The Corps made it sound like the drinking was the disease. But I knew better. The drinking was just a bandage on something deeper. PTSD. Though I couldn't get it recognized because the incident that triggered it didn't officially exist as a suicide. Years passed. The memory didn't. One day I decided to push back. I filed a Freedom of Information Act request, not just for closure, but for proof. I wanted the records on that night, the internal communications, the after-hour reports. If the Corps had quietly changed its standard operating procedures because of what had happened, I wanted that in writing. And I got it. Buried in the pages was the change. No more live ammunition for Armory Watch at Marine Corps training facilities. It was an unspoken admission that the training accident wasn't an accident at all. That FOIA request didn't go unnoticed. Emails started showing up. Some were straightforward denials of certain documents. Others felt more personal. Some carried undertones, the kind you recognized if you dealt with people in power who want you to stop digging. They weren't random. The names tied back to people with connections. Individuals who on paper had no reason to care about my FOIA request. By May 2017, the pressure wasn't just coming from the shadows. It was out in the open. Oxford, Mississippi was in the middle of a quiet political shift. The state flag, the Mississippi flag, had been removed from city property. That wasn't done by accident or slow bureaucratic erosion. It was the result of a push led by then Board of Aldermen member Robin Tannehill. She authored the referendum. The board approved. The mayor signed off. And in a matter of days, something that had flown over city property for generations was gone. Now Tannehill was running for mayor, unopposed. Election day was set for June 6, 2017. That spring, I took my protest to the public square. I didn't carry the American flag. I carried the Mississippi state flag, the one they'd taken down as a direct statement. I believed in the right to speak out, the right to dissent, the right to be visible. That's what the First Amendment is for. But in Oxford, visibility comes with a price. On May 1st, 2017, I crossed paths with Lafayette County Sheriff's Deputy Timmy Pruitt. He wasn't wearing his badge, just the blank space on his uniform where it should have been. That absence spoke volumes before he even said a word. The encounter was brief but heated. I asserted my rights. He gave me an order to leave. I asked on what grounds. He told me if I didn't leave, I'd go to jail. Moments later, he made good on that threat. The arrest was caught on camera. That video spread fast, shared by large platforms and pages that reached audiences far beyond Lafayette County. The public reaction was swift and overwhelmingly in my favor. Pruitt's actions were criticized loudly and often. I was told he'd been placed on administrative leave, though some called it a vacation, while county officials decided how to handle the fallout. The timing was no coincidence. While I was being arrested, my ex, Phyllis Crowder, and her attorney were in Lafayette County Chancery Court, filing papers to block me from seeing or speaking to my child. My only child at the time, my daughter Lydia. One hand held the cuffs, the other signed away my rights as a father. The rest of May was a steady escalation. The protests didn't stop. The legal moves against me intensified. The email threats kept coming. Surveillance became harder to ignore. The city's political machinery was engaged, and I was in its direct path. By May 26th, everything was in motion. The pressure, the hostility, the calculated steps taken against me, all of it converged. That's where the story you're about to read begins. This thing right here is, I think it's like 350 something pages. It's I wanted to show you. So when you hear me saying, I had originally wanted this book to be out by August 15th. I've pulled it back because I wanted to add additional stuff to it. Let me get this mouse. Just want to show you this. Where does it show how many? I don't know where it's at on here. Fuck it. It's real. So, like I said, I'm gonna for my members, this will be the incentive to get a membership to the channel. I don't make anything off of ads. hardly, just diddly squat. In fact, I took ads off of my website because I didn't want it looking like malware. So I think that's going to be a good idea right there. I know I'm going to give out the maximum number of memberships that I can give out every month. It's completely random. But me hotspot. YouTube. Let me log into StreamYards on my laptop. Mute that. Share screen. Now's the time I need to be standing out there by that gate. They're all coming in now that I've come back to my car. So if you go over to We the People News, it's a newer channel. I started it at the beginning of this year. Patriot News Activism used to be Lafayette County Audit. So that one, if you want to truly go back to original content, that's it. Everything's still up. Here's that arrest that kicked everything off. I am audio and video recording, Mr. Pruitt.
I don't care. You have a permit to be here.
The First Amendment, actually.
You have a permit to be here.
No.
All right, you got to leave.
Why is that?
Because you're going to jail if you don't.
I'm going to jail just for standing out here and holding a flag.
You demonstrate. You have to leave.
Okay. Where does that supersede?
Let me just. One more time.
Can I just ask you? Can I ask you a question?
I'm going to ask you one more time to leave. If not, I'm going to jail before the time.
Okay, I'll leave and take this straight to my attorney. Then that's you can't threaten me with First Amendment rights. Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, Mr. Pruitt. This fucking city is ass fucking backwards. Ass fucking backwards. Y'all see that? Hey, what's your badge number, by the way, Deputy Pruitt? No, I'm not. I'm leaving. I was asking you. I was asking you. I was leaving. I was leaving.
Pretty crazy arrest, huh? Yeah, I need to end this live stream and go find somewhere to catch a cat nap for a couple hours. Um, Definitely not going to do it right here. I'll chill here. Won't sleep here. I will not sleep here. All right. I'll be back. I'll be back over here later, continuing on my story. Out of the 8 people that are on here, I'm going to say that probably at least 5, maybe 6 of the 8 are cops. Probably some with the probably say there's probably at least probably 4 of them with the Galveston Police Department. There's somebody closing doors. Must be over there. Yeah, I'm not gonna go try to catch them. What are you coppers gonna do whenever you gotta actually buy a membership to catch the content? I don't do no damn law enforcement discount. If I could charge 10 times extra, I would. I'm also smart enough to know that I'm not going to try to pull out of here um, without being on a live stream.
Close out of that other window. Strength alert. Come on, don't give me problems right now.
live stream out of the city limits of Galveston. I know we're still in Galveston County, but and I do have the option of hitting that live button again if they try some shit. I would hope that all of this sent a message, or sending a message of what not to do to somebody. Oh, I haven't had a McDonald's coffee in several days. They've got the $1 large coffees through the app. I think that actually sounds pretty good. You're riding with the outlaw. It's a real ride with the outlaw. All right. Well, I know I've got a stream full of I know I've got a stream full of cops. I know I do. Yeah, nobody said nothing. Oh, hey. Yeah, I gotta get me a couple hours of rest. All right, y'all. Take it easy. I'll be back live later today. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me do this. I want to set the outro video. Outro video. I don't know, Victim Fund Blues, or I'll do Operation Silence Suppress. Not seeing an OK button to hit.
Operation Silence the Press.
So you're tuning in live for National Fuck the U.S. Marshals Day. We the People News.
Kidnapped quick, no warrant, no case. Camera smashed out, tripod in my face. First Amendment written, they erased, but the court said Cohen already placed. Hey! Operation Silence the Press, they plotted, they guessed, but the truth don't rest. It beats in my chest from Cohen and Cali to Lafayette stress. Rights don't vanish cause the marshals press. Broke my gear, trying to kill my breath. Shackle me cold, start me near death, but the voice survives and I stand confessed. I expose what they fear. Silence the press. August 25th, courthouse stone. Sign in my hands, I stood alone. Words from the past, Cohen's tone. Fuck the marshals, carved in bone. Hated news and badge with a snarl. Threatened my cam, said seize it all. I stepped back slow, obeyed the call. Then he lung slammed hard, I fall. Tripod cracked, my gimbal broke. Camera camera crushed and the government choked. First Amendment, bled in the smoke, but the record stands. I spoke. Operation Silence the Press, they plotted, they guessed, but the truth don't rest. It beats in my chest from Cohen and Cali to Lafayette stress. Rights don't vanish cause a marshal's press. Broke my gear, trying to kill my breath. Shackle me cold, start me near death, but the voice survives and I stand confessed. I expose what they fear. Silence the press. Dragged to a cell, chest punched tight, couldn't breathe deep, heart raced all night, knock his arm back just to fight for air. Now he screams assault while I'm gasping there. Out tick slow, no sirens near, paramedics mock, no mercy here. Hospital cold, the truth unclear, delay in the jail, they jeered. Pastor Olivier, cuff cut bone. I asked what's the charge, he had none shown, just a hole for the feds. My rights dethroned, that's kidnapping law in a danger zone. 40 pages black, lies in disguise. I forget, hit the ski, but the scars don't lie. Laugh all you want, but the tape don't die. Operation failed, truth multiplies. Jailhouse freezing, blanket torn, no food served, constitution scorned, wrist bones twisted, pain reborn, but the fight lit brighter in the darkest storm. This ain't 30 days, this is principle strong. 54 years, the court said wrong. One man's lyric, another man's song, and I spit that truth in a world gone wrong. Cross they plots, they stitch and weave. Oxford, the Galveston tricks deceive, but you can't erase what the people believe. The first don't fade when the lions grieve. Operation Silence the Press, they plotted, they guessed, but the truth don't rest. It beats in my chest from Cohen and Cali to Lafayette stress. Rights don't vanish cause the marshal's press. Broke my gear, tried to kill my breath. Shackle me cold, start me near death, but the voice survives and I stand confessed. I expose what they fear. Silence the press.
Operation Silence the Press.